Okay, hello everyone. Just before we begin, I want you to think about a time when you told yourself, tomorrow I'm gonna start exercising. Okay, but also the tomorrow came and something got in the way. Maybe you felt tired, had too much work, or simply did not feel as motivated as you expected. So most people interpret that experience as a personal failure and say, I guess I wasn't motivated enough. But today, I want us to consider a different possibility, okay? What if the problem was not the amount of motivation they had, but the lack of of a clear plan? So today, what we're going to be exploring is the relationship between motivation and exercise adherence. And by the end of this short lesson, you should be able to create one specific if-then plan that could help a person continue exercising even when motivation is low. So to guide us through that lesson, I want you to meet Daniel. Okay. Daniel is a college student who wants to begin exercising 3 days per week. One Sunday night, he feels excited, prepares his gym clothes, and tells himself that this week will be different. But then Monday comes, he completes a full workout and feels proud. But on Wednesday, one of his classes runs late, so he goes home tired and he decides to skip the gym. By Friday, he feels like he has already failed for the week, so he tells himself that he will start again next Monday. So let me ask you one question after I explain this to you. What do you think failed, Daniel? The motivation or the plan? So I want to hear y'all's opinion. What do you think it was, motivation or the plan? So Daniel clearly had motivation because he prepared, started, and completed his first workout. The motivation was there. The problem was that his plan only worked under perfect conditions, and when something unexpected happened, he did not know what to do next. So exercise adherence means being able to remain reasonably consistent with exercise over time. This does not mean completing every planned workout perfectly because real life will always create interruptions that we do not control. So it means developing a strategy that makes it easier to return to the behavior instead of completely abandoning it. Does that make sense? Okay. So motivation can help us begin, but motivation naturally changes from day to day. We may feel inspired after watching a video, setting a new goal, or seeing early results, but that feeling cannot always be controlled, as I mentioned. And because of this, behavior change becomes more effective when we connect our intention to a clear situation and action. So one simple strategy is called an if-then plan. And the structure of an if-then plan is if the situation happens, then I will complete this specific action. So a way that you can see it in an example, we could be saying, I will exercise more this week, which expresses a good intention, but it does not identify when, where, or how the behavior will happen. So a clear plan will be if my class ends at 4 o'clock on Tuesday and Thursday, then I will go directly to the recreation center and exercise for at least 20 minutes. So notice that this plan includes a specific situation and a realistic action. It removes some of the decision making that often happens when a person is already tired or distracted. So now I want you to take approximately 20 seconds, give it a take. You can take a little bit longer and identify one common reason that a college student may miss a workout. Could be a late class, low energy, a busy work schedule, stress, transportation, or something else. I would prefer if you guys tell me about your personal experience. How have you seen this happening in your own personal life or someone that you know very closely? And tell me a little bit about it. Awesome. They were all great examples. I love them all. Thank you so much for sharing. So now take that barrier and begin creating an if-then plan. I want you to start working on that. So for example, if the barrier is feeling too tired to complete an entire workout, the plan could be, if I feel too tired to complete the workout, then I will work for 15 minutes and complete two simple exercises instead. Okay. So this smaller activity may not be the person's ideal workout, we know, but it maintains the habit and prevents one difficult day from becoming an entire week of an activity. So let us return to Daniel, the example that I gave before. And instead of only saying that he will exercise 3 days per week, he creates two clear plans. Okay. His first plan is if my final class ends at 5 o'clock, then I will go directly to the recreation center before going home. And then the second plan will be if my class runs late or I do not have enough time for my full workout, then I will complete 15 minutes of movement before I shower and prepare for the next day. So that way, Daniel still has the same goal, but he now has a strategy for both a normal day, and a difficult day. Here is a quick comprehension check. Which of these two statements is more likely to support exercise adherence? Okay, I want you guys to pay attention. We have two different examples. We have statement A and statement B. So I want to know which of these two is more likely to support exercise adherence. So statement A is I'm going to become more active. Simple. And then statement B, when I finish class on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I will walk for 20 minutes before going home. Give me your opinions. What do you think? And how can this benefit? Okay. Awesome opinions. I love the feedback that you gave, everything that you had to add. It was amazing. So yeah, like you mentioned, statement B is stronger because it connects the behavior to a clear cue and makes the action measurable, very important, and realistic. Super important as well. However, an if then plan does not guarantee that someone will always exercise. Very important. This is not the magic hack. This is not gonna resolve all the problems in the world. People still face unexpected barriers like injuries, stress, changing responsibilities, last minute emergencies. But the purpose is not perfection. Again, purpose is not perfection, guys. The purpose is to reduce uncertainty and make the next action easier to recognize. That's the key point that I want you guys to keep. That the purpose is not perfection, but is to reduce uncertainty and make the next action easier to recognize. Okay? So before we finish, look at the plan you created and ask yourself 3 questions, okay? I want you guys to take your time with these 3 questions, analyze it, and then we're going to write about it and we're going to discuss it in class as well. So the first one is, does my plan identify a clear situation or cue? Okay? Does whatever I'm designing, the plan that I'm proposing for myself or for this person that I care for, is it clear enough? Is it a clear situation that we are representing in it? Are we being specific enough? Okay, that's the first question. Second, is the action realistic enough to complete on a difficult day? Is whatever we're planning or writing or recommending the person something that is realistic, not only right now, but in the long term? Is it realistic if the responsibilities change? You know, something that happens nowadays at this point in our lives when you're in college or when you get to this ages, like something like having a kid, you know, having a big payment, an emergency that we got to deal, any like college debt, anything like that. If those things or those situations happen in life, is our action plan still realistic enough to complete on those difficult days, on the days that the baby cannot stop crying, or when we don't have anybody to take care of the kid, or when mom is asking for help in this other day, or we need to go to Brownsville to do this other thing? Is in those difficult days, is it still realistic enough so we can do it in those special situations? Okay, that was the second. And the third, does the plan help me return to the behavior rather than judge myself for missing one opportunity? Super, super important for exercise adherence, the feeling and the mental, the psychological part behind of it. So is the plan helping me return to the behavior? Again, like we mentioned, we're not always going to get to that perfect workout, to the ideal workout that we want to have when we have plenty of time. But is our plan helping us return to that initial ideal workout, or is it rather just gonna make us judge ourselves or feel like this is not even enough, this is not helping me, I feel like this was worthless, I just wasted time, I wasted energy, and I don't even feel better after doing this? Is the plan actually challenging enough, or is it rewarding enough for the person that it can help them not motivate them, but keep them on the right track towards that behavior that we want them to continue pursuing? Okay. So those are the three questions. So if the answer to any of these questions is no, you got to make either the plan smaller or more specific. So take that into account whenever you are, whatever you guys wrote already or whatever else you're about to write now that we discuss about these three questions. Okay. So lastly, I want to also mention today we began with Daniel. Daniel believing that he lacked motivation. But we actually discovered that what he actually lacked was not motivation, but a plan that could survive an imperfect day. So, was Daniel the problem because he didn't have enough motivation? No, he just needed to be guided the right way so that when that motivation is there, he can perform to the best of his abilities and get and lock in and do what he's supposed to do. But even when that motivation is not there, or when life is not helping him to achieve those goals that he wants to, he still has a plan of like, okay, it may not be the best day, I may not have the most time, I may not feel with the most energy, but still I'm still working on myself to get to that goal. Is that every day we're gonna walk 5 steps ahead? No, but we got to understand that it's still good if we do one or two or maybe half a step rather than stay where we are, which is just continuing there. Or even that in the long run, if we stay and we don't move because the day is not perfect, then we're just going to start going down again. So again, um, just want to close it with the main message I want you to take home is that motivation may help people begin an exercise behavior. Motivation is really important, especially in that initial phase. That's super important for you guys to keep. But a clear and flexible strategy can help them repeat it. So, motivation is great and it's a great resource, especially for that initial phase. But once we want them to repeat it and adhere to it, that's when a clear and flexible strategy are the way to go through. Okay. So again, just to reiterate on it again, motivation, great for phase one of exercise. Get that first step in, get to try something, put your feet in the gym, put your feet in the university of recreation, try something new, try a new sport, a new hobby, something like that. But then a clear and flexible strategy, that's what can make that person not only try it, but maintain it. Okay. So when working with a future athlete, client, or student, do not only ask, how motivated are you? Also ask, what will you do when life does not go according to the plan? That's the question. Okay, guys. Like motivation, again, it's a feeling. Some days we're going to feel happy. Some days we're going to feel sad. Some days we're going to be good. Some days are going to be bad. But the question on how we got to address this planning and how we address with individuals that want to achieve these goals and exercise is, what plan do you have to all the different scenarios that can happen in your life, moving away, anything that have to come in their specific life, and get to know the person. I think it's very important that when you are having those conversations, when you're planning something for an individual for whatever exercise goal they have, it's very important that you take the time to know the person, know their context, know where they at in life, so that you can prepare and have a plan for those things that they're going through in life. So again, before we end this class, take a moment to complete this final sentence for me, and please, we're gonna go one by one, um, and we're just gonna discuss about it. Okay. So the last phrase that we're gonna do is basically, when space happens, I will space. Okay. So take it as whatever you like, whatever you want to talk, either life, exercise, anything. I know this class about exercise and exercise adherence and everything like that, but it's important that you guys see it as like this is not only for exercise, guys. This is only for class. It's also for anything that you guys want to do in life, because at the end of the day, life and things we do in our daily routine comes with a lot of motivation and then the planning that we have to achieve those goals, because life is about goals. It's about what you want to do with your life in the future and preparing for it. So don't feel like you need to put it straight about exercise. Think about how this applies to your life. So when happens, I will. So I'm gonna say an example for myself. Um, when taking care of the kid happens, I will have already a plan strategized for whatever the class is. So if I know that, or if it happens that I need to take care of my kids, and I can now work on a very specific examples or things I can bring to class, I will make sure before even the semester starts, I already have everything planned and ready to be able to give those classes, even if I cannot if I can add that extra material to it. Okay. So that will be my example, but I want to hear every one of y'all as well. So that sentence is your first step towards turning a good intention into a behavior that has a better opportunity to last. So again, take this as an opportunity for you guys. If there's something that you had in mind, I want to try something out, but you haven't done it, write it down. Sometimes just by writing it down is that initial step for you to try it. So I want you to write it and then we're going to discuss it. And then that's pretty much everything I have for today, guys. Thank you very much for every one of you for participating and being part of this class. And if there's any questions regarding the class or anything else, this is the moment that you can ask. If not, again, thank you very much. It was an awesome time here talking to y'all, and I'll see you till next time. Okay. Um, Everyone, take care and have a good one. Goodbye.